went to a church called Grace Baptist Church, right outside of Detroit, Michigan. We had a VBS. He said, so we won't go through the lesson today, but we will do our memory verses. Okay. So then he went in and he presented the gospel to us. And, you know, I had been brought up in Christian homes. I had gone through the Bible. My grandmother took me through the Bible and everything. But I realized at the time that I knew a lot about Jesus, but I did not really know him as Savior and Lord of my life. And at that time, there was 4 of us boys in the class. We made that decision that morning. And I can't tell you what the feeling was afterward. Just like something lifted off your shoulders. Well, it took a lot of faith in Vietnam, believe me. After we got there and everything, and I went, you know, I was one of the first groups to go over, and then I went back TDY 3 times. But I had a PCS assignment for a year, and I went, and none of us could understand the war, you know, what was going on. And one of our presidents got up and said, we're not fighting the war to win it, and we're not fighting the war to lose it. And we all gathered around and said, how do you do that? So it was one of the things that kind of bothered us guys. And I used to work with the chaplain there, and whenever he would call, they would always bring the bodies in and take them through the chapel, but they had them, the bodies were in these aluminum containers and everything. I used to help the chaplain with that, and it was hard. It was really hard, but it was difficult. I lost a cousin in Vietnam, in Marine Corps. He was at Quezon, and he had 15 days to go to come home, and a sniper got him. Young man. I wasn't married when I went to Korea. After I come back, I met my wife, and she lived in Detroit, Michigan, also where I live, and I met her, and I fell in love immediately. I mean, there wasn't a real long courtship or anything like that. I just fell in love immediately. But she supported me all the way. Some of the things, it was difficult for me, especially in the combat areas when we started losing a lot of troops and stuff, and they'd come and I'd go to the chapel, you know, and it's hard. You know, you look at those guys and you wonder why. You know why, but you still question it. I knew a special forces major over there. We used to haul troops into him, supplies into him at this camp up in the northern part of South Vietnam. And he had all South Vietnamese soldiers there. And the North Vietnamese come down and attack the camp, and the South Vietnamese surrendered and turned over all their weapons, and they killed the major. And they cut his head off, and they put it back on, and then they challenged us. You always go in and get the bodies, always, regardless. They challenged us to go get the bodies. We lost 2 helicopters, but no troops, but we got his body out. But they set him right out in the open. It's hard. He was really a great guy. A couple times in my life I've questioned God. That was one of them. But however, I had to go back, and I just went back to the Lord, and I asked him forgiveness. You know, I know he didn't do it. Come home. The only thing bad about the whole thing, when I got home and got out we landed in San Francisco at the airport out at the base close by there. And while we were coming through the line, they had these protesters there. And they were calling us baby killers and everything, and it was very difficult. And I was trying to hold back, but the Marine in front of me did not hold back. He reached through. You could go reach through the fence there. He reached through and he grabbed the guy by the throat, and we had to pull him off because the guy was turning blue. But he shut him up. But it was just one of the things. Vietnam, very unpopular war. That I was a Christian. That my life reflected the fact that I was a Christian. And that they could see Jesus Christ in me. That's all I ask.